Chapter 991. The Demoness wants to borrow his eyes. 1. Most people did not care much about the heavenly spirit tribe and did not get involved with them. They could not understand what their deal was. But those who understood it wanted to know what might happen in the end. Compared to the Dragon Cave, these people paid more attention to the heavenly spirit tribe. Various immortal sects were also interested in that tribe. The Clear Sky School's people might join as well. I'm guessing the Saint Bandits are also involved. They probably don't want the immortal seed to bloom either, Xing said. Jiang Hao nodded. The decline of the heavenly spirit tribe was due to the Saint Bandits. Because of the Saint Bandits, the heavenly spirit tribe was despised by the world. If the heavenly spirit tribe was favored again by all, then the Saint Bandits would be the target of everyone's resentment. Their strength and power would be greatly reduced. Unless the Saint Bandits came out of hiding and took control of the situation, the issue would not be resolved. Otherwise, when the Great Era dawned, everyone would benefit from it. The Saint Bandits would be the only ones left out. When will the Saint Bandits make their move? Gui asked. Although I noticed their traces, I haven't seen them lately. Liu shook his head. Jiang Hao thought for a moment and said, when the time is right, they will attack. Gui and the others were surprised. When would be the right time? Gui thought for a moment and asked, Friend Jing, you're working with them? Everyone sighed. Jiang Hao was waiting for Gui to ask that. That question helped his image immensely. At that moment, everyone looked at him. We made a temporary agreement, Jiang Hao said slowly. Are they also planning to deal with the heavenly spirit tribe? Gui asked. Jiang Hao nodded. He thought that Gui might ask more, but that was it. It saved him trouble. When Jiang Hao confirmed it, everyone was in shock. It meant that Saint Bandits could be of help. More and more people were getting involved. Although the Dragon Cave had attracted many people's attention, the real deal was not the Dragon Cave but the heavenly spirit tribe. I have to start reading the heavenly tomes as well. Perhaps reaching the same level as the one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment will bring me a pleasant surprise, said Zheng. After that, they talked about many other things. Gui mentioned that many people were looking for Yang Shong, and the matter was crucial. Xing told them about the affairs of the heavenly spirit tribe. They were preparing to face the enemy. Liu mentioned the Shangguan clan. They were starting to become more involved in everything. Moreover, their cultivation realm was improving. He also mentioned Kai Tian in passing. The 12 heavenly kings were preparing to become immortals, and Kai Tian would obtain more power after that. Jiang Hao decided to find some time to meet Kai Tian and to find out if there was anything different about the sea area of the 12 heavenly kings. At Colored Glass Island, Mr. Dao walked out of his room and into the courtyard. Mr. Dao, why are you out again? Tang Wei got up when she saw him. She had been outside the entire time. As a guard, she spent all of her time outside her room. Although she did not have to do this, she liked it. The room was too stuffy anyway. It seems like so many unexpected things are happening recently, said Mr. Dao. What is it? Tang Wei asked curiously. Will Zhu Shen be back by tomorrow? Mr. Dao asked. Yes. Tang Wei nodded. Let's talk about it tomorrow then. Also, we'll pack up and leave tomorrow. There's no need to stay here any longer, said Mr. Dao. Why? Tang Wei asked. Because of what happened in the Dragon Cave. It doesn't matter if it is big or small, but it might have a bad impact in other places, said Mr. Dao and sighed. Is it related to the 12 heavenly kings? It should be a long time before they attempt to become immortals, Tang Wei said. Of course not, Mr. Dao said and smiled. Many people are getting involved this time, but no one might cause such a great fanfare. Tang Wei did not ask about it. Even if she did, he would just answer her in a riddle. Early the next morning, Zhu Shen returned before dawn. Mr. Dao, why are you up so early? He was surprised to see Mr. Dao drinking tea and reading a book. Mr. Dao didn't rest at all. Tang Wei yawned. Zhu Shen was shocked. Did something big happen? Tell me about your discovery first. Mr. Dao smiled. It's a little strange. I checked the situation about the heavenly spirit tribe. Things don't seem normal. I also found more information on Saint Bandits. They have gathered together but haven't taken any action yet. I used a special method to get some information out of them. They seemed to be waiting for someone to give them an order. They seemed to be planning something big, Jushin said. Waiting for someone? Mr. Dao frowned. Wasn't it just a temporary collaboration? From the looks of it, the situation was somewhat different from what he had imagined. He could not find an explanation unless it was not the person he was thinking of. Yes, but we don't know who it is exactly, Jushin said. Let's go to that island to take a look, said Mr. Dao and stood up. Don't we need to keep an eye on the dragon cave? I heard that Smiling San Sheng wants to overturn this place, Jushin said curiously. Tang Yue imitated Mr. Tao's voice. Because of what happened in the dragon cave. It doesn't matter if it is big or small, but it might have a bad impact in other places. Jushin looked at Mr. Dao in surprise. Mr. Dao nodded. Smiling San Sheng has caused a big commotion. Shouldn't there be a huge impact? Jushin asked. Mr. Dao looked at him and smiled. Sometimes, when you can't find someone, it's not because they want to do something. It's just that they don't care about it enough to reveal themselves. What? Jushin was stunned. Could it be that he has already, if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 992, The Demoness wants to borrow his eyes, too. What? What has he already done? Tang Yue asked. It's indescribable. Mr. Dao smiled and walked away. Jushin was certain that Smiling San Sheng might have already left the dragon cave. Perhaps he had gone someplace else. Maybe near the heavenly spirit tribe. Tang Yue didn't mind. These two people always talked in riddles. That was why she did not like talking to them too much. At the heavenly spirit tribe, Tongwu arrived at the ancestral land early in the morning. There were guards outside, but he had status. He could go almost anywhere. There was no need to explain himself or ask for permission. After entering the land, he came upon an empty passageway. He walked along it for a while before he turned around the corner into a small path. After that, he used a secret technique at the fork and arrived at an unidentified area. After that, he arrived in a small room with a bamboo door. Creak. When he pushed open the door, he saw a desk. On the desk was an ancient book that was protected by a mysterious power. Without hesitation, Tongwu sat on the chair beside the table and flipped open the book. The first Saint Bandit was a traitor to the heavenly spirit tribe. He broke the boundaries between clans and committed an act of great theft. The Saint Bandit is a thief. His actions are heinous and are judged by heaven and earth. The heavenly spirit tribe suffered endless calamities because of this. Later, the Saint Bandits stirred up the world and caused chaos. They were suppressed and sealed in the void ocean by the human emperor. The members of the Saint Bandits are all sealed away. The human emperor is the ruler of the earth. He has the great destiny of heaven and earth. He has suppressed entire clans and achieved the position of the human emperor. All clans banded together to build the human emperor palace for him. They gathered the fortunes of all clans and countless heroic spirits to follow the emperor. Later, the immortals launched an attack. The human emperor broke through the sky and left. He held the Shenyuan sword and led everyone in the human emperor's palace to kill his way into the 9 heavens. He destroyed the immortal clan, sealed the immortal seed, suppressed the 9 nether, destroyed the foundation of the immortal clan, and brought it down to the 9 heavens. From then on, the immortal clan was no more. The human emperor's palace collapsed and was buried in the 9 nether Yellow River. Tongwu read the words and tried to imprint them in his mind so that he could write them down somewhere later. After he finished reading, he left the place. He didn't take the book with him. When he walked out of the ancestral land, a middle-aged man was waiting for him. Third Elder, Tongwu said respectfully. The man was old with white hair, but he was extremely powerful. The clan leader wants to see you. The third elder looked at the ancestral land and said, "Are you here to look for clues?" "Yes. I think I'm almost there. It won't be long before we lock onto the second ancestral land. Then, we just have to find a way to get in," said Tong Wu. He looked excited and happy that he was going to achieve something big. The third elder nodded in admiration. After a while, at the edge of the pavilion, Tong Wu saw the clan leader. The leader looked as friendly as always. He seemed to treat Tong Wu well. Clan leader, Tong Wu said respectfully. I heard that you're about to find it. The clan leader turned to look at Tong Wu. Yes, I might be able to find it in 2 days. Tong Wu nodded. Very good. The clan leader smiled. Then, we have to follow up on the preparation. The second preparation? Tong Wu was surprised. Yes, said the clan leader seriously. Tong Wu, do you know the importance of the second ancestral land? It concerns the future of our race. You said so before, clan leader, said Tong Wu. It seems you remember everything very clearly, said the clan leader. Other people will also be keeping an eye on this place. This place has a limitation in place. Only those below the Immortal Ascension platform can enter it. Anyone with a good mind would know about this restriction. If people come here, they will be extraordinarily powerful. Why don't we just stop them from entering? Tong Wu said. The clan leader chuckled. Don't be so naive. Those people will be much stronger than us. If they want to enter, we can't stop them, so we have to prepare. We have to strike first. How? Tong Wu asked. It's very simple. We'll suppress our cultivation realms to a realm below the Immortal Ascension platform and fight them. If that happens, no one will be able to enter, and we'll have full advantage, said the clan leader and smiled. But won't that destroy the arrangement we have in place? Tong Wu asked. The clan leader laughed. That's why I need you to find the place. Don't worry. It's our ancestral land. We have the advantage. Now, it's up to you. The future of our clan is in your hands. I won't let you down, clan leader, said Tong Wu and lowered his head. After that, Tong Wu left. The clan leader watched him leave and smiled. After Jiang Hao woke up, he wrote down everything from the gathering. He had asked Senior Dan Yuan to investigate the Genshin cliff in the west. He had asked Xing to find out more information on the Human Emperor's palace. After that, Xing would no longer owe him anything. If the Heavenly Spirit Tribe's mission was successful, Xing would owe him a huge reward. As for Gui, she needed to find a way to enter the Human Emperor's palace. She owed him 2 favors. She owed him a big favor and a small one. With that covered, she would still owe him a small favor. The people from the immortal sects would act soon. He had to be careful. As Smiling San Sheng, he wanted to try to get in touch with the End of All Things and see what they were planning. He had the means to contact the End of All Things, the Saint Bandits, and the Heavenly Tower using the identity of Smiling San Sheng. After writing everything down, he began to wait. The immortal dress should be arriving soon. Early in the morning, when the sun shone rose, someone knocked on the door. Jiang Hao got up and walked to the door. In an instant, the heavenly cauldron spread out and enveloped whoever was on the other side of the door. It was to prevent them from spying on Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye or whatever magical items were in the room. Jiang Hao saw a woman at the door. Senior, the immortal dress you want costs a total of 60,000 spirit stones. You still need to pay another 50,000. Jiang Hao took the red and white immortal dress and paid 50,000 spirit stones. He had 16,583 spirit stones left. There was not much money left. It was hard to believe that he had consumed so much money just for a trip. It was mainly because of the divine soul of the Holy Master. But he had become stronger than before, so it was worth it. After making sure that everything was fine, Jiang Hao returned to his room and closed the door. He deactivated the heavenly cauldron. Senior. He walked to the screen and called out. There was no response. Senior. Jiang Hao called again. He still did not hear any sound. After hesitating for a moment, he went behind the screen. He saw Hong Yuye lying on the side of the wooden tub. She was looking directly at him. Jiang Hao was speechless. Bam! Jiang Hao crashed heavily against the wall. A moment later, he felt the vast aura disappear. Senior, I didn't mean to offend you, said Jiang Hao hurriedly. Is that so? Hong Yuye's calm voice came from behind the screen. Yes, Senior. I apologize, Jiang Hao said seriously. There was only silence. Jiang Hao lowered his head and didn't dare to make any more moves. After a while, she asked, "Do you want to enter the Heavenly Spirit Tribe's ancestral land?" "Yes. I want to go and see if we can find anything more. I also want to reinstate my image in the gathering. That way, it'll be easier for me to work for you, Senior," said Jiang Hao. "Only those below the Immortal Ascension platform can enter that place?" Hong Yuye asked again. "Yes." Jiang Hao nodded. That was what Xing had said. It was very dangerous for him. After all, he was at the peak of the Immortal Ascension platform. Once they entered, they would have to hide. However, he did not know the exact situation. At that moment, a voice came from behind the screen. "I'll have to borrow your eyes." Jiang Hao was a little confused. Why would she need his eyes? He wondered if he should write that down. Borrow my eyes. Jiang Hao thought of how he had seen himself through her eyes before. That was something that could only be done through the one heart palm. If she wanted to borrow his eyes, he would have to leave his palm imprint on her. Jiang Hao's heart raced. But he quickly calmed himself down. "Senior, how do you plan to borrow my eyes?" Perhaps there was another way to do that besides the one heart palm. At that moment, there was a long pause, and then she said, "Come here. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 993, using one heart palm on the Demoness in the endless sea, the waves surged, and the endless sea seemed to be able to devour everything. At that moment, someone was walking on the waves. He was walking at his own pace. The figure was faintly discernible under the light. In the blink of an eye, he was gone. Behind him was a woman in a red and white dress. The dress looked a little informal. It made her appear young. The hem of the dress fluttered in the wind. The two were Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye, who were heading to the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. At that moment, Jiang Hao was unable to concentrate. His thoughts were like a vortex. Everything felt chaotic. In the morning, when Hong Yuye told him to approach, he moved to her with his back facing her. He did as he was told, and then Hong Yuye took the dress from him. It was actually a robe, but the design was decent. It was not much different from an immortal dress and could be used as a replacement. Jiang Hao was a little worried when he handed her the dress. If she was not happy with it, he would be in trouble. Then, she heard the water splashing in the tub. "Your taste in dresses is bad," said Hong Yuye calmly. When Jiang Hao turned, he saw Hong Yuye. She looked different. He could understand why she thought his taste in dresses was bad. The simple dress made her look less aloof and cold. It did not suit her. But he was glad he was not sent flying against the wall. Above the waves, Jiang Hao lowered his head. He remembered that Hong Yuye's long hair did not match the dress. She spent some time pinning it into a bun. When she was done, she told Jiang Hao to close his eyes. Jiang Hao closed his eyes. Then, he felt her take his hand. He was a little worried. "Don't you dare open your eyes," said an indifferent voice. "If you do, I'll claw them out." Jiang Hao didn't dare to act rashly. Soon, he felt something. His hand landed on some clothes and then on soft skin. Jiang Hao's heart raced. He had never experienced such a feeling before. It made him feel helpless. "Use the one heart palm now." He did as he was told. When everything was over, Hong Yuye let go of his hand. When he opened his eyes, he saw Hong Yuye sitting there and drinking tea. It was as if nothing had happened. Jiang Hao looked at the surging waves and sighed. He felt like he was dreaming. He had forgotten how it felt to be near her. He had only felt it once when he was 19. It was too long ago, and he had forgotten. The feeling just came and went. He could not remember clearly what had happened then. His memories were not clear. Everything that happened when he was 19 was an accident. He did not understand what was going on at that time. It was different this time. He understood everything. He understood who the person in front of him was and her purpose. He also understood that she was too powerful. When he turned to look at her, he realized that the one heart palm did not affect her much. Perhaps that was how the powerful simply were. Simple physical contact did not faze them at all. Everything seemed so normal to her. Jiang Hao turned and looked at the waves above the sea again. His heart was like the waves. He was unable to calm down. He did not know how to calm himself down. Do you know what the divine item looks like? Hong Yuye asked. Jiang Hao regained his composure. I don't know yet. Do you know, senior? He stood beside Hong Yuye and looked at her. What do you think it might look like? Hong Yuye asked with a smile. I don't know, but since it can suppress something so powerful, it should have the aura of the mountain. Jiang Hao said. It might be something you might not expect, said Hong Yuye mysteriously. Jiang Hao asked again, but she did not say anything. That made him feel rather helpless. Are you confident in entering the ancestral land? Hong Yuye asked. I wasn't before, but now I am, Jiang Hao said. Hong Yuye looked at him but did not say anything. Jiang Hao understood what she wanted to ask. According to Xing, the heavenly spirit tribe wants to use treasures to suppress their cultivation to the immortal ascension platform or below. Are you confident that you can fight against an immortal ascension platform cultivator when you are just at the peak of the golden core realm? Hong Yuye asked with a soft smile. Compared to the peak of immortal ascension platform, this is safer, said Jiang Hao. Hong Yuye chuckled. He didn't ask any more questions and walked ahead. It would take 5 days to travel from Colored Glass Island to the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. If he had a teleportation array, it would be much faster, but Jiang Hao did not have any more spirit stones. He was not able to afford it. He could only brace himself and take Hong Yuye along on the sea for 5 days. Hong Yuye had asked him why he was not taking her directly to the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. Jiang Hao made an excuse and told her he wanted her to see the sea. Hong Yuye laughed. After 5 days of traveling, Jiang Hao was much calmer. It was the end of October. It was almost time to go and report to Xing. He had been paying attention to the stone tablet for the past few days and saw them chatting in space. There were indeed many people who appeared near the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. Some were from the end of all things. The disciples of the immortal sects also gradually appeared. However, their cultivation realms were very high. If the Heavenly Spirit Tribe really suppressed their cultivation, most people would not be able to enter. The Heavenly Spirit Tribe would then have everything under control, especially since no one would be able to enter. Jiang Hao felt a little sentimental as he watched them chat. He could enter, but he could not tell them. He had to think of another way. In the Heavenly Spirit Tribe, there was an island with some huge mountains. The island was quite prosperous, and there were many people gathered. When he arrived, Jiang Hao immediately looked for an inn. He needed to make a trip to the Shangguan clan too. He had to see if the separated blood pool could really suppress the curse. He also had to wait for Gui's update. She had mentioned that Jiyu Changsheng had warned her that the south was in danger. Jiang Hao was concerned about the said danger. He had asked Hong Yuye about it, but she had said nothing. It was impossible to know if she was not willing to tell him, or if she did not know about it at all. There was one more thing he wanted to do. He wanted to buy a pickaxe. He had thought about it for a long time. He needed a better one. Otherwise, he would not be able to dig ores. A handy tool was extremely important. At night, in the imperial city in the south, Baizhu sat in the courtyard and looked into the distance. If she was correct, Jiyu Changsheng would contact her tonight. At that moment, countless array formations were set up around the courtyard. Ordinary non-cultivators were unable to detect them. The arrays were set up there because Baizhu did not feel safe. Without kendo, Baizhu did not know what she would do if Jiyu Changsheng suddenly attacked. If he did, then it would be all over. It was better to be careful. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 994, Buying some tea at night. The moon shone brightly in the cloudless sky. In the past, Baizhu would enjoy such a night with a snack in hand. But, tonight, she was out of her depth. She just wanted to know what Jiyu Changsheng wanted and if she was safe. She was still young and did not want to bear such a burden. Someone like Jiyu Changsheng should not have approached her. There were so many geniuses in the world. She was just one genius from the royal family. Baizhu couldn't help but sigh. "Young lady," said a voice in her ear. Baizhu jumped in fright. She looked around and realized that there was no one around. She could not see any aura around. Was she hallucinating? "Are you looking for me?" asked the voice again. She heard it right near her ear. "Senior Jiyu?" Baizhu asked. "How old are you?" asked the voice. "I'm only 18 years old," said Baizhu. 18? The voice sounded surprised. "Why do I feel like you are at least a few hundred years old?" "Senior, are you really Jiyu Changsheng?" Baizhu asked. "You're correct," said the voice. "Senior, do you really think there is a great danger in the south?" Baizhu asked. She felt that this senior was very elusive. The other person's voice was hoarse as though he had not spoken for a long time. "You don't know?" asked the voice. "How could I?" Baizhu felt that it was a little strange. "You don't know why you were chosen?" asked the voice. Baizhu was stunned. Why was he asking her that? Was it related to the curse or the longevity clan? The wind was a little strong that night. It blew Baizhu's hair into a mess. "Senior, what do you mean? Looks like you really don't know. Senior, please tell me." "You don't know, and that sword cultivator might not know either." "It makes sense. Even Jiyu Jin didn't know, after all." The words made Baizhu feel a little uneasy. What exactly was going on? "Do you know about my shadow? The one in that cursed tree?" Baizhu asked. "Yes. Do you know why the tree is in that place?" "Because you were there when it happened." "Yes, but I could have been in another place, and it wouldn't have mattered. I left behind a manifestation, but all of them disappeared except one." "Do you know why?" "Because of the river." Baizhu frowned and guessed. She was not sure where the river started and where it ended. It was dark, lifeless, and mysterious. They didn't seem to care much about the river. "Yes, that river," said the voice. "Is there something wrong with that river?" Baizhu asked. She had not touched the river when she was there, so everything should be all right. "That river has some connection with me. I often get nutrients from there. Once I leave, it will be like opening a crack in the river," said the voice. "I thought you had it all figured out, but I didn't expect you guys to be this clueless. It makes sense trouble always finds you. Senior, please don't scare me. I'm still young, and you're scaring me too much," said Baizhu. She hoped the problem would not be worse than what she had faced in the West. There was always trouble wherever she went. Although overseas was in turmoil, it was still safer than here. She could not tell whether she or Jing was a bigger trouble magnet. "Have you heard of the most ferocious creature in the world?" the voice asked. "Yes, I have." Baizhu nodded. Lately, she had felt that her luck was getting better, but it seemed danger still followed her. She hated her luck. "Oh." The voice seemed interested. "Do you know what kind of ferocious creature it is? What could be more dangerous than the heavenly fate misfortune pearl, the earth extreme silent pearl, and the heavenly extreme dream pearl?" Baizhu asked. The voice fell silent. "You know a lot," said the voice. "Is the danger you mentioned related to the heavenly extreme dream pearl?" Baizhu asked. "How did you know?" The voice sounded surprised. She already knew that the heavenly fate misfortune pearl and the earth extreme silent pearl were in Jiang Hao's hands. But she could not say that. She was concerned that this danger seemed to be related to the heavenly extreme dream pearl. She had dodged the danger from the heavenly fate misfortune pearl and the earth extreme silent pearl only to fall into the trap of the heavenly extreme dream pearl. It was just awful. "I guessed as much. According to what you said so far, the heavenly extreme dream pearl is in that place?" Baizhu asked. "Probably. The source of the river is there, but I don't know where the exact location is." However, there was no need to worry too much. She still had time. It was said that the human emperor had suppressed the heavenly extreme dream pearl and placed it in a safe place. "As long as there are no accidents, it might be okay," said the voice. Baizhu was speechless. Unfortunately, Several accidents had already happened there. Seeing that Bai Zhu was silent, the voice also fell silent. Early the next morning, Jiang Hao returned to the inn. They stayed in a room with a shared balcony. Hong Yuye was standing outside. She looked into the distance and seemed to be deep in thought. As for the Shangguan clan, there was no problem for the time being. Although the blood pool could not completely suppress the curse, it could still prevent the Shangguan clan from being affected by the curse directly. The people of the clan had become stronger, and their power was recovering. Perhaps in a few years, they might become a new rising power. When they were strong enough, they could break free from his control. Of course, at that time, he would be stronger too. Whether Jiyu Changsheng appeared or not would not affect him in the slightest. Can we enter that place today? Hong Yuye turned to look at him. No. Jiang Hao shook his head. According to Xing, everything was delayed. He just hoped that he would have enough time to prepare. As far as he knew, they could not enter the island if they were not at the Immortal Ascension platform. Naturally, he needed some time to prepare. Otherwise, he would not be able to hold up his part of the deal. Senior, do you want to change your clothes? Jiang Hao suddenly asked. Hong Yuye was still wearing the red and white dress he had bought for her. Compared to the ones she was used to, it looked a little ordinary. It gave off a very different aura. Hong Yuye suddenly smiled. Stop thinking about what I am wearing and start thinking about the kind of tea I prefer. What type of tea do you plan to buy? Senior, you must be joking. I already bought the tea leaves that you like. You can drink it anytime, said Jiang Hao. Don't tell me there are no new types of tea here, Hong Yuye said. Jiang Hao didn't know what to say. Let's go and look at the tea leaves, Hong Yuye said as she walked out of Jiang Hao's room. Jiang Hao checked how many spirit stones he had. He had around 10,000. It was over for him. It was not enough. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 995, 500,000 spirit stones for tea is not too expensive. Mount Li Island was dominated by the Heavenly Spirit Tribe, and there were many factions around it. Most of these forces were stronger than the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. However, it was all right. They were just there for fair trade. After all, there was no benefit in becoming enemies with the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. Although the Heavenly Spirit Tribe had declined in their glory, they still had some power and influence. They could trade with them and get what they needed. 1/3 of the entire island belonged to the Heavenly Spirit Tribe, while the rest belonged to other forces. Jiang Hao was heading to one of the Heavenly Spirit Tribe's businesses. It was the Heavenly Tea Restaurant. The place specialized in various types of tea leaves. This time, Hong Yuye led the way, and Jiang Hao followed behind her. On the way, he broke out in a cold sweat. What kind of tea would he be able to buy with just 10,000 spirit stones? Maybe he could afford red azure tea. It was certainly impossible to obtain September spring. It was a headache not being able to afford spirit stones, especially when Hong Yuye was leading him to a tea store, and he dared not refuse her. He felt helpless. He did not feel this helpless even during a major crisis. Seniors, which floor do you plan to go to? The woman at the reception seemed to be in her early 20s. She was at the late stage of the Golden Core realm. Jiang Hao sighed. Through Hong Yuye's power, her cultivation was displayed at the peak of the Foundation Establishment realm, while he was at the late stage of the Foundation Establishment realm. This time, he didn't use the identity of Smiling San Sheng. After all, many people thought that Smiling San Sheng was still in the Dragon Cave. In order to put pressure on the Great Thousand God sect, they couldn't let anyone know that Smiling San Sheng had left. Naturally, he could not use his identity, but Hong Yuye had him covered. Even so, the woman at the reception still addressed them as seniors. It was really surprising. How many floors are there? Hong Yuye asked. A total of 7 floors, said the woman. Then, we'll visit the 7th floor, Hong Yuye said calmly. Jiang Hao sighed in his heart. He didn't know if 10,000 spirit stones would be enough. Please, follow me. The woman hesitated and led them to the 7th floor. To enter the 7th floor, One must at least have an immortal ascension platform or 1,000,000 spirit stones transaction. Otherwise, the senior guarding the 7th floor will not be happy. The woman explained everything on the way. Jiang Hao didn't say anything. Hong Yuye didn't care. The woman lowered her head respectfully. There were 3 rooms on the 7th floor. The 3 rooms were each guarded by a person. The woman led them to the last room. She knocked softly on the door. "Elder Lin, we have a guest," said the woman. "Come in," said a deep voice. Creak. The door was pushed open. Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye followed him in. A muscular man was sitting at a long table. There were many exquisite tea leaves and tea sets on it. Elder Lin frowned slightly. "Sit," she said politely. Hong Yuye was not in a hurry. Jiang Hao understood that she wanted him to sit first. At that moment, the woman from the reception retreated. "What kind of tea do you like?" Elder Lin asked with a smile. "Is there September spring?" Jiang Hao asked. He was sure that the other party did not. Elder Lin shook his head slightly. "We have to wait for 7 to 8 years for that. Do you have red azure tea?" Jiang Hao asked. "It will take a few years." Elder Lin shook his head. He took out some green tea leaves. "Would the 2 of you like to try this? Although it's not as good as red azure and September spring, it's a tea unique to the heavenly spirit tribe. It's not ordinary tea either. Can I try it first?" Jiang Hao asked calmly. It was not as expensive as red azure and September spring. The other party began to brew the tea. Jiang Hao wanted to try it first before deciding to buy it. "Senior, are you a member of the heavenly spirit tribe?" Jiang Hao asked. "No, but I grew up in the heavenly spirit tribe. I was fortunate enough to be nurtured by some seniors," Elder Lin said with a smile. Jiang Hao nodded. The heavenly spirit tribe was similar to the Shangguan clan in the way they needed help from outsiders. One was affected by the curse, while the other was cast aside by heaven and earth. Therefore, it was extremely important for the heavenly spirit tribe to regain their favor this time. "There seem to be more people here lately," Jiang Hao said. "There are indeed many. Everyone is here for something, but it has nothing to do with us." Elder Lin poured tea for Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye. Hong Yuye turned to look at the person beside her. Jiang Hao understood and took out a red teacup. Elder Lin was stunned and immediately poured tea into the cup. This was the first time he had seen such an ordinary teacup. Even if these were 2 Foundation Establishment realm cultivators, they would not just casually carry 2 teacups around. "Senior, do you know about the Saint Bandits?" Jiang Hao asked. "I know a few. Are you interested in them, fellow disciple?" Elder Lin asked. "Not really. I'm more interested in the end of all things," Jiang Hao said softly. He looked at the man calmly. When he entered, Jiang Hao saw a hidden power around the other party. It was not that strong, but it was extraordinary. He used the art of reversal to check if that strange power was from the Great Thousand God sect. After making sure the person was not a part of Saint Bandits or the Great Thousand God sect, he brought up the end of all things again. Elder Lin looked at Jiang Hao in surprise. "You're interested in the end of all things? That's not good. They have businesses and connections everywhere overseas. The core members are very dangerous." Jiang Hao smiled and nodded. Then, he used the secret technique of the end of all things to try to connect the dots. Unfortunately, the other party did not react to it. However, the other party's soul was not ordinary. He had some strange abilities. The cultivation world was big, so it was not surprising to come across such people. "Not bad," said Hong Yuye as she sipped the tea. 5,000 spirit stones per pack. How much do you need?" Elder Lin chuckled. "I don't have a lot. I have 10 packs, which is 50,000 spirit stones. If you want them all, I can give you a discount and sell them to you for 45,000. Jiang Hao was speechless. After a while, Elder Lin saw them off at the door. At that moment, the woman from the reception walked to him. "Elder Lin, what cultivation realm are they?" She had been in the Foundation Establishment realm for a long time, so she was curious. "Looks like they are both in the Foundation Establishment realm," Elder Lin said calmly. "How much did they buy?" she asked. That man spent 10,000 spirit stones on 2 packs of tea that I showed them, said Elder Lin. He watched as Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye left. The woman was a little stunned. 2 Foundation Establishment Realm cultivators spending 10,000 for tea? Were they really in the Foundation Establishment realm or were they faking it? She could not tell for real. In fact, it was not just her. Even Elder Lin could not tell for sure what cultivation realm they had. It seemed they were here to gather information on the area rather than being too interested in tea leaves. They did seem bold. If their cultivation realm was not as they made it seem like, he did not want to risk it. If they were powerful and not someone he could provoke, it would be over for him. Elder Lin sighed and returned to his room. 10,000 spirit stones. He had given out a lot of information on all sorts of things. For a moment, he felt as though he had suffered a loss. It was almost laughable. I wonder if there comes a day when I can confirm what their cultivation realms really are. Elder Lin sighed wearily. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 996. The Demoness is assumed to be a swindler. Elder Lin sat on the chair beside the table and wrote down what had happened today. Then, he placed the notebook on the bookshelf in the corner. The shelf was magical and was used to store performance and customer information. The shelf made it easier to distinguish between everything. After putting the things away, Elder Lin sighed. He knew that many people would come seeking him soon. As expected, 2 people knocked on his door after a while. It was an old man and a beautiful woman. They were at the Immortal Ascension platform. They were at the Foundation Establishment realm and spent 10,000 spirit stones on some tea. The old man, Shu Ji, smiled. Friend Lin, I'm afraid you've encountered the Green Bandit. I've heard of those 2 people too, said the beautiful woman Zhong Yang. It is said that those 2 people seem like they are at the Foundation Establishment realm, but they dare to talk to experts. It makes people feel that they are not all they seem. They have often appeared in the sea area governed by the 12 heavenly kings. It is expected for weaker people to be deceived, but I didn't know you would be deceived too. That's surprising. The 2 of them sat down and poured tea for themselves. Friend Lin, you said you can't see through their cultivation realm? Shuji smiled. Is it really possible for them to be at the Foundation Establishment realm? Exactly, said the beautiful woman Zhong Yang. Friend Lin, you have been deceived. If you encounter them again, call us to help you figure it out. Elder Lin felt a little awkward. He did not know how to respond. He might really have been deceived by 2 Foundation Establishment realm cultivators. He felt really aggrieved. He realized that those 2 people had not revealed any extraordinary auras from beginning to end. On the street, Jiang Hao counted his spirit stones as they headed back. He still had 6,121 spirit stones. He was rather sentimental. He still had a few spirit stones. He was at his poorest after becoming an immortal. In the Heavenly Note sect, he would still be considered wealthy. However, 6,000 spirit stones were not enough, especially since he had sold the precious things he had. Although he still had some things on him, they weren't worth much. He had killed someone in the Dragon Cave, but that person did not have much in the storage treasure. They reached a pastry shop and decided to eat something there. He also took a look at the surroundings. The place had many floors, and they could see the location of the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. They arrived early and found a good spot with a nice view at the edge of the balcony. What would you like to eat? Asked the waiter. Jiang Hao thought for a moment and ordered the signature pastries of the shop. After a while, the pastries were served. There were a total of 3 plates, each with only 3 pieces. They all looked different. Jiang Hao took out some tea and soaked it in the hot water. These 2 packs of tea leaves had cost him 10,000 spirit stones. When he bought the pastries, the person at the shop was stunned. He brought the pastries personally. He was the politest person Jiang Hao had ever seen. He did not look down on Jiang Hao even though his displayed cultivation was low. The next time they met, Jiang Hao would buy more if he had more spirit stones. This time, he was a little short of money. After making the tea, Jiang Hao poured a cup for Hong Yuye. Then, he looked into the distance. He used the skills from the Nameless manual and activated the Heaven Lock technique. He wanted to see if there was anything special in the location where the heavenly spirit tribe was. From afar, one could see an isolated island. Spiritual energy surged around the island, and the power of the sea gathered there. One could vaguely see two shadows shuttling through the sea. One was stable, while the other was blurry. Perhaps those were two ancestral lands of the heavenly spirit tribe. It seemed that Xing would not delay any longer. Once the ancestral lands stabilized, the entrance would open. At that time, many people would go there. It was all for that divine item. Some wanted to destroy it, while others wanted to activate it. That would define the rise and fall of many clans. "Fellow disciple," said a voice, and Jiang Hao snapped back to reality. He looked up to see a young man and a young woman. The two of them were dressed in white, and they had the faint aura of immortals. Their temperament was extraordinary. But, early golden core realm? Jiang Hao frowned. He tried to project his senses to detect anything strange going on. However, he did not find anything. They seemed like they really were at the golden core realm. It seemed that they had just advanced recently. But how could a golden core realm cultivator have such an aura? It was especially true for the young man. He smiled, but it was clear that there was only indifference in his eyes. It made Jiang Hao wonder if these two were extraordinary existences, just like Hong Yuye. Then, he said politely, "Seniors, is there anything you need? Can we share the table?" asked the young man politely. "The view is so nice from here. It's just the right spot, so I wanted to ask if you'd be okay with sharing the table." Normally, Jiang Hao would not have any problem with it. But Hong Yuye was there with him, so it was not a good idea. "We have some decent tea that you two can taste," said the young man with a smile. Seeing that the tea he had brewed had already finished, Jiang Hao looked at Hong Yuye. Since she did not say anything, he agreed. The table was square. He and Hong Yuye were on one side, and they let the other two have the other two sides. "I am An Lai Ming. This is my junior sister, Nailan Huihui." And Lai Ming sat down and introduced himself and the young woman. "Im San Sheng. This is Senior Hong," said Jiang Hao politely. And Lai Ming smiled. "What would you like to drink? Red Azure, September Spring, or Deep Point?" "Deep Point tea. It tastes better than the others," said Nailan Huihui before Jiang Hao could respond. Jiang Hao was surprised. These people had Deep Point tea? He felt a little uneasy. Were they really at the Golden Core realm? Hong Yuye did not say anything. However, no matter how he looked at it, they were clearly at the Golden Core realm. There was no other aura. There was another way to find out. That was to use the daily appraisal ability. However, Hong Yuye was right there, so he could not use it. After thinking for a moment, Jiang Hao looked at the two. He activated the Heaven Lock technique. The Heaven Lock technique could not see into their cultivation realm, but it would be able to sense their talent. If these two people were really experts like Hong Yuye, their talents and opportunities were definitely not ordinary. Experts were different from the rest. After a while, Jiang Hao looked at the tea in front of him. It was indeed Deep Point tea, just like the one Sichu Wudao had offered. It made Jiang Hao even more curious. "Fellow disciple, are you here for the Heavenly Spirit Tribe as well?" And Lai Ming asked. "You are here for that too, seniors?" Jiang Hao asked. "Not really. We were just passing by and noticed that many people had gathered in this place, so we stayed to watch the show," said An Lai Ming and smiled. "When do you think that island will open? Isn't it fascinating? Does he want to ask about the ancestral lands?" Jiang Hao thought. "It should open in a few days. I heard it's complicated to enter the place. You have to be at or below the Immortal Ascension platform," said Jiang Hao. "Below Immortal Ascension platform?" And Lai Ming smiled. If that was the case, why would they let everyone make sufficient preparations? "I feel like there is more to the situation than meets the eye." Jiang Hao was surprised. Does this person really know things, or is he just guessing? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 997, Juniors concealing their cultivation in the south, in the imperial city. Baizhu sat in the courtyard and sighed. Auntie Qiao, are my brothers busy? She had been back for so long, but she had not seen her brothers. She wanted to praise her second eldest brother. After all, his cultivation realm had increased greatly. Yes. They seem very busy. It's because of the Shagwan family's matters, said Qiao Yi. They were supposed to have a meal with you, princess. Baizhu sighed. Well, it can't be helped even if I am the number one genius of the royal family. She was not even in a mood to get upset at that. Jiyu Changsheng's words rang in her ears. She felt everything was just meaningless. It was futile. She felt numb. How could the world make her feel so numb at such a young age? What was going on in the south? The south used to be her place of hope. She had opened trade and started many businesses here. Now, she lived in the shadow of the destruction of the south every day. Baizhu sighed. I feel that these 20 years have been very taxing. Princess, you are only 18 years old, said Qiao Yi. Baizhu was speechless. The other genius of the royal family. I heard that something strange happened when she was born. There were spirit beasts, said Qiao Yi. Spirit beast? Baizhu was surprised. Yes. Qiao Yi nodded. It is said that when the little princess was born, there were dragons and phoenixes in the sky, and a fire-like spirit beast egg dropped. It's waiting to be hatched. Besides, she has already chosen her master. The little princess' talent far exceeds the others. It shocked the entire imperial family. Naturally, the title of a genius of the royal family isn't self-proclaimed. The last word made Baizhu feel even sadder. But she was curious about the spirit beast egg. Let's go and find that little princess. Baizhu stood up and walked out. Princess, it won't be food if you are targeted by the other princesses, said Qiao Yi. Baizhu waved her hand and dismissed her worries. What are you afraid of? I'm the real number one genius of the royal family. Even ancient powers haven't been able to harm me. There's no need to be afraid of a bunch of princesses. This is my home. My ancestors will protect me. I prayed to them last time. Qiao Yi thought of senior Kendo, the cursed tree, and the minds of the Heavenly Note sect. She felt that Princess Baizhu was joking at first, but it seemed she was being serious. Every time the princess said that she was the number one genius of the royal family and that her strength was astonishing, she always meant it. Qiao Yi sighed. No matter how she looked at it, she thought Princess Baizhu was joking. Princess, you should be careful, she said. I'll be fine. We'll be leaving in a few days, Baizhu said as she walked out of the courtyard. Where are we going? Qiao Yi asked her curiously. The Yellow River of Nine Winds, Baizhu said. At Mount Li Island, Jiang Hao looked at the two people in front of him. He did not understand them. It was hard to believe they were only at the Golden Core realm, but there was no doubt about it. Jiang Hao didn't care anymore. It didn't matter whether they were really at the Golden Core realm or not. He decided to be kind and polite to them just in case. Senior, you're wise. Jiang Hao nodded. There might be problems here. I heard that many people have come here. Some of them are powerful experts. Do you know who these experts are, fellow disciples? And Lai Ming said mysteriously. Who? Jiang Hao was curious. He Jitong, an elder of the Heavenly Spirit tribe. The Heavenly Spirit tribe probably never expected all this, and Lai Ming said with interest. Jiang Hao thought that was worth taking a look at. Senior, do you know much about the end of all things? He asked. And Lai Ming shook his head. But I did hear about an interesting person on my way here who might be a part of that organization. Oh. Jiang Hao was curious. Have you heard of Smiling Sansheng? He sounds interesting. And Lai Ming sipped his tea. Isn't he in the Dragon Cave? Jiang Hao said. And Lai Ming smiled meaningfully. No one can find him, nor do they understand his purpose. Do you think it's possible that he has no purpose at all and has already left the Dragon Cave? Did you talk to him, Senior? Jiang Hao asked. He wasn't sure if the other party was just speculating everything. This tea is very good. The Sichu clan has the most delicious tea leaves. Smiling San Sheng seems to have some dealings with the Sichu clan, and Lai Ming said. Jiang Hao realized that this person was implying that the tea was given to him by Smiling San Sheng. He also realized that this person had said that he had heard about Smiling San Sheng, but he had never claimed to have met him. Jiang Hao did not expose their lies. He started discussing the Heavenly Spirit tribe. He talked about the ancestral lands, the Heavenly Spirit tribe, and the fallen immortal clan. He even implied that many experts would enter the ancestral lands. The Heavenly Spirit tribe wanted to prevent it, but many experts wanted to enter the place. It was better to let more people know and attract enough people to crowd the place. After all, not all people were at the Immortal Ascension platform. There would be quite a few powerful people. That way, his chances would be even greater. When the tea was finished, and Lai Ming and Naylan Huahui stood up and bid them farewell. Jiang Hao stood up and bowed. After the two of them left, Hong Yuye said, "What did you see? They are really at the early stage of the Golden Core realm." Jiang Hao sat down and quietly collected the tea leaves. He wanted to take them back for the spirit beast. After all, these were expensive tea leaves. The spirit beast would like them. He just couldn't let little Li see it, or else she would want to eat it too. "What do you think they wanted?" Hong Yuye asked again. "They probably want to get information from me. They might be thinking that we're hiding our cultivation realm," said Jiang Hao. If that was not the case, why would they take out such expensive tea leaves to drink and chat? Even Return to Void Realm cultivators would not do that, let alone Golden Core Realm cultivators. "You hid your cultivation?" Hong Yuye asked with a faint smile. "Yes." Jiang Hao nodded. "I'm really at the peak of the Golden Core Realm, but I'm currently displaying a late-stage Foundation Establishment realm." Hong Yuye chuckled. Then, she looked in the direction of the Heavenly Spirit tribe. "The entrance is about to open." Jiang Hao looked over as well. The second ancestral land was beginning to stabilize. It was indeed about to open. However, before entering, he needed to contact the Saint Bandits. "Why do we have to listen to Smiling San Sheng?" asked a young man coldly. "Why does he get to command us like this? He's in the Dragon Cave right now. He's of no use to us. We should decide things ourselves. Who knows if he can ever be of help to us from the Dragon Cave?" The middle-aged man shook his head. "It's just mutual agreement. We're not familiar with things right now. Our goal is the same at the end of the day. Smiling San Sheng has a plan, and it'll be better for us to go along with it. But that place is about to open. We don't even know where Smiling San Sheng is," said the young man. At that moment, someone walked in from outside. "Smiling San Sheng contacted us," she said. "What did he say?" asked the middle-aged man. "He said that he needed some Immortal Ascension platform cultivators to enter the ancestral land. He didn't give many details," said the woman. "What does he want? Is he asking us to die for him?" the young man asked coldly. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 998, Strangers Stay Away from the Demoness. In the inn, Jiang Hao received a reply from the Saint Bandits. He had 3 requests for them. One was to find a few peak Immortal Ascension platform cultivators to follow him. He did not give them further details and told them to wait for more instructions. The second was to have some Immortal Ascension platform to wait outside and enter the island later. The third request was for them to wait for his signal to attack the Heavenly Spirit tribe. From the looks of it, they had no objections to his requests, but they did have a lot of questions about the first request. What did he want the peak Immortal Ascension platform cultivators for? They did not want to die. There was no other way. That was why he had made that request in the first place. Other than that, the people who joined him would have their own purpose. Their purpose? Jiang Hao thought for a moment. Other than the divine item, what other purpose did the Saint Bandits have there? He didn't ask much, but they could go in together. When he encountered trouble, He would need someone to help him. Otherwise, he would not be able to approach the divine item and do what he wanted to do. He agreed to their terms as well. The other party replied that they could send 3 cultivators at the peak of the Immortal Ascension platform and 2 other Immortal Ascension platform cultivators at the early and middle stages. The rest were deployed according to his requirements. Around early November, the Heavenly Spirit Tribe was on high alert. On the surface of the sea, Tongwu looked around vigilantly. He had found the place, and it was already open. The second step of the tribe's plan had succeeded. Not long after it opened, the surrounding sea area gradually surged. There seemed to be quite a number of people arriving. As expected, the first batch of people appeared. They were dressed strangely, and they looked indifferent. Other than their eyes, there was nothing else in common. They were from the end of all things. Tongwu knew them. This is an important place for the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. Please go back to where you came from. Aren't you a little young to be guarding such an important place? Why do you think that is? Your people don't even want to interfere. You dare to say that? An old man sneered. They waited for the others. At that moment, a ship approached from afar. On the boat sat a scholar holding a folding fan. Beside him was a woman in a red and white immortal dress. She looked young, as though she had just entered the cultivation world. She sat at the side and drank her tea. Who is that? Tongwu asked. Were the Saint Bandits, Jiang Hao said slowly. To let Hong Yuye enjoy her tea in peace, he had asked for a ship too. There were 5 people on deck. There were 2 middle-aged Immortal Ascension platform cultivators, 2 young men, and a young woman. The woman was shy and did not seem to go out much. As for the men, one of them looked aloof, while the other one was muscular and friendly. They all stood on the deck, except for Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye. Why are the Saint Bandits here at the Heavenly Spirit Tribe? Tongwu asked. Why is the end of all things here? We're here for the same reason, said Jiang Hao and smiled. Do ask them why they are here. Tongwu looked at them and did not say anything. Instead, he sent messages to the elders. Soon, people appeared at the edge of the sea. Some were alone, while others were in groups. Those who knew what was going on watched from afar. The fallen immortal clan, the great thousand god sect, the end of all things, the Saint Bandits, and the Heavenly Saint sect. A man with a sword on his back looked around and sighed. I didn't expect so many people to come. Jiang Hao looked at him and sighed. Not only were there many people here, but their cultivation realms were also very high. No ordinary person would dare to be here. The information had not spread too far. Most of the people overseas were still paying attention to the Dragon Cave and not the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. No one paid attention to the people arriving. It was as though they had expected it. The people who received the news in the Heavenly Spirit Tribe did not care. These people could attack if they wanted to. The ancestral land could not be sealed again. It was impossible to defend it. They could not even dream of winning against 4 great forces. Even if just the fallen immortal clan and the Heavenly Saint sect joined hands, it would be impossible for them to defend themselves, let alone 4 forces joining hands. They had no chance of fighting them outside, but this was their land. The Saint Bandits must have other motives. Can you suppress them? The clan leader looked outside. Thieves started to suppress them. The Saint Bandits can't just come here and take what they want, said an old man. What about the fallen immortal clan? Didn't they say that they have a way to control that divine item? Asked the clan leader. Yes, their people have begun to exert influence on the island. Even if someone finds the divine item and knows the true method to activate it, they won't be able to do it, the old man said. The clan leader smiled. That's for the best. The appearance of the Saint Bandits worries me. They might know the method to activate it. That might be dangerous for us, especially since they hate us. What a bunch of ingrates. If it wasn't for them, our Heavenly Spirit Tribe wouldn't have ended up like this in the first place. The old man nodded. That's true. We have no choice but to wait and see what happens next. Do you think there's something wrong with Tongwu? The clan leader chuckled. Until now, there was no accurate news that the others had suppressed their cultivation realms. This made him suspect that Tong Wu had not spread the rumor far and wide. He did not know if that was good or bad. The old man didn't say anything. He could only wait and watch. "When are we going in?" asked the young man on the ship. "It seems that no one else is going to start. Let's do it." Jiang Hao stood up with the folding fan in his hand. He looked into the distance and knew where the entrance was. If the others wanted to wait and watch, there was no problem. This way, he would have the advantage. But he did not believe that the people of the Heavenly Spirit tribe had not gone in yet. He turned to look at Hong Yuye. "I'll be back soon," he said. In the end, he gathered with the others and used the Heavenly Secret's hidden talisman. He also used many concealment techniques on himself. He did not know what dangers they might face. "Come with me," said Jiang Hao. His pace was not that fast, but Tong Wu was terrified when he saw them approach. His power erupted. A figure walked past him. Jiang Hao knew that the person in front of him was hiding his cultivation realm, so he was sure that he would not really attack. Sure enough, it passed in an instant. The 5 people behind him followed. Then, it disappeared into the sea. There was a stone tablet there and the entrance. Jiang Hao took the lead and handed a note to the Immortal Ascension platform cultivator behind him. The 3 people followed him in, and the last 2 stayed behind. Boom! The 2 Immortal Ascension platform cultivators who were about to enter with him were thrown back. It surprised them. "What happened?" someone asked. The other thought of something and immediately opened the note Jiang Hao had handed him. He saw a few words on it. "Some Immortal Ascension platform cultivators are not allowed inside." At that moment, they understood why Jiang Hao had wanted cultivators at the peak of the Immortal Ascension platform. It seems like the situation is under his control. It is no wonder Senior Nangong wants us to cooperate with him. The Immortal Ascension platform cultivators holding the note sighed. He only hoped that the 3 people who went in with Jiang Hao would not cause any trouble. If there were more than 3 people at the peak of the Immortal Ascension platform, they would have chosen other people to go in. The ones who went in were arrogant and condescending. At that moment, they quickly retreated. Many people began to approach. They wanted to see if what Smiling San Sheng had said was accurate. Boom! Someone tried to enter but was thrown back. "Since you can't enter it right now, why not try again after a while?" "I don't know. I'm just doing as I'm told." The 2 of them did not say anything else and quickly returned to the ship. However, just as they arrived near their ship, their eyes narrowed in disdain. They remembered that there was a woman on the ship. She might be weak. They wanted to test her, but when they got close, they felt terrified of her. She looked aloof, noble, and unapproachable. They were afraid and did not dare to board the ship. They stayed by the side of the ship and guarded it. At that moment, they realized how terrifying the woman might be. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 999, The Saint Bandits Arrive. 1. Tong Wu looked at the sea. One by one, experts entered. There was no lack of elites from immortal sects. However, as they entered, explosions rang out. The surface of the water surged, and many people were thrown back. Everyone was surprised. "Can't enter?" asked the young man with the sword on his back. "It's strange. Those who have just reached the Immortal Ascension platform can't enter, but the ones at the peak of that realm can." He felt that it was very peculiar. That shouldn't be the case. Why would it be like that? The burly man wrung the water out of his clothes. "Isn't it obvious?" The woman sighed. "The Heavenly Spirit tribe has done something. Anyone below the peak of the Immortal Ascension platform doesn't seem to be able to enter. No matter how powerful the people are, it is impossible for them to gain any benefits from the ancestral land. They are not fools." "Does that mean we are the fools?" A fat man chuckled. He looked at Tong Wu in the distance. His power was almost erupting. Tong Wu was startled. Boom! The energy storm sent Tong Wu flying. Before he could regain his footing, the wind and waves engulfed him. Finally, he sank into the deep sea. Boom! The power exploded, and blood spilled out into the sea. I have to find someone from the heavenly spirit tribe to vent my anger on, the fat man said. I don't like you, said the young man who carried a sword on his back. There are so many people who don't like me. Do you think you're an exception? The fat man sneered. Then, a sword light swept down. The sword's intent was awe-inspiring. The fat man was shocked and used all his strength to resist. Boom! The sword's intent hit the man and sent him flying. Why not stop me before I attacked someone a while back? Must you wait for me to kill someone to finally attack me? Asked the fat man. The sword returned to the young man's hand. His voice was calm. I don't like the heavenly spirit tribe either. I didn't have a reason to kill you before. More people began to argue. The two saint bandits looked around and felt anxious. These people were all experts from various factions. If they went in together, they would definitely be swept away. It was no wonder the heavenly spirit tribe had set a limit to the cultivation realm. However, there were others who entered the place, and they had a cultivation realm below the immortal ascension platform. After this, everything was up to Smiling San Sheng. More of their people were coming over. It was just as well to wait and see them try to enter. Smiling San Sheng was truly extraordinary to be able to enter the place, and so was the woman on the ship. They were more concerned about her. Who exactly was she? An expert in this realm rarely went out. The Great Era had yet to begin, so there was no benefit for these experts yet. On the ship in the distance, Mr. Dao looked into the distance and sighed. I didn't expect a fight to break out so quickly. Moreover, not many people seemed to have entered. Also, something was wrong with the Saint Bandits. It was as if there was a powerful presence whose aura covered everything. He did not know what was going on over there. He did find someone when he tried to sense their presence, but when he tried to remember what he had felt, he could not. Normally, this kind of thing was very difficult to detect, but he had used stellar transposition before, so he was very sensitive to power presences. From the looks of it, he did not have to pay too much attention to them. When do we make our move? Zhu Shen asked. We wait for the news, Mr. Dao said after thinking for a moment. What kind of news? Tang Ya asked. Mr. Dao shook his head. He could not be sure because things had escalated beyond his expectations. He had no choice but to wait and see if anything else happened. After Jiang Hao entered, he felt his body shake, and then he began to rise into the air. The power pierced through the sea and into the clouds. Everything happened too quickly. He didn't even have the time to take a good look at his surroundings. He was sure that the endless sea was below him. Crash! Piercing through the clouds, Jiang Hao ascended high up in the sky. In front of him was an incomparably huge palace. There were countless platforms floating around the palace. Many figures appeared on the stone platforms. There were 3 people who had followed him. When Jiang Hao landed on the stone platform, the 3 people immediately jumped toward him. Jiang Hao tried, but he could not fly in this place. If he fell from here, that would be the end. It's similar to the deep sea, but the suppression isn't as terrifying. Jiang Hao could still use his strength to jump to another platform. Moreover, it did not restrict spells. It only prevented them from flying in the air. Why is it just a few of us? Asked the young man. I don't know. The woman with him shook her head. They looked at Jiang Hao. Do you need me to give you an explanation? Jiang Hao opened his fan and asked. For a moment, the 3 of them hesitated. In the end, he did not say anything. If you don't say anything, I'll pretend that you don't need an explanation. Let's go. Jiang Hao took a step forward. Are you really called Smiling San Sheng? Asked the man. Jiang Hao smiled. He waved the folding fan in his hand, and his face changed. He looked like the man in front of him. He looked at the man. I can also pretend to be you if you want me to. When the man saw his own face on Jiang Hao, he felt shocked. But he remained calm. The operation was extremely important, and they could not afford any problems. My name is Liao Yingrong. I don't know whether you really are Smiling San Sheng or not, but I was instructed to listen to your orders nonetheless. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1000. The Saint Bandits arrive. 2. However, I'll say this. If you behave badly and put us in danger, I'll be forced to act on my own, said Liao Yingrong. The other two followed suit and introduced themselves. The sturdy man was called Tong Shuan. The woman was called Zhuo Jing. Jiang Hao glanced at the three of them. They were very arrogant. They did not think highly of him either. It only made them skeptical. That was the way of the world. The weak ones lived in fear of him, while the strong ones showed disdain. Besides, they all had the same cultivation realm. Jiang Hao did not care. He walked toward the main hall step by step. There were many doors in the hall, and no one knew where they led to. When they entered, they saw that many people were already there. No one made a move. Instead, they walked toward the palace. Do you know the way? Jiang Hao asked. If you want to go to the location of the divine object, you need to enter the third level of the inner region. Of course, our people will take care of it. Although you're strong, you don't know what we know. When the time comes, just help block any attacks directed toward us. We will cooperate fully, Liao Yingrong said. Jiang Hao nodded. This was as easy as lifting a finger. It was a good deal for them and him. When he found the divine item, many would fight for it. That would not be good. The palace was bigger than it looked. There were many stone statues there. There were statues of people, dragons, and some other strange races. When they fought against the immortals, many people were there. The heroic spirits in the human emperor's palace appeared together. In that battle, the human emperor was not at his peak, but he still subdued everything. They paid a huge price. The human emperor took away the immortal seed. The fate of the immortals was handed over to the heavenly spirit tribe and us. The stone statues here were carved by our people. They were all experts who had knowledge about many important things, whispered Zhuo Jing in awe. Then, what happened? How did your kind get sealed? Jiang Hao asked curiously. After experimenting with various races, one particular person finally took the most important step. When the human emperor was heavily injured, the person took his chance. Unfortunately, the human emperor was still strong enough to make a move. That person was defeated. Everyone in the heavenly spirit tribe watched as he was drowned in the endless deep sea, said Zhuo Jing softly. Jiang Hao recalled the words he had seen in the sea fog cave. They had said that someone was at the bottom of the sea. Perhaps it was related to the Saint Bandits. You blame the heavenly spirit tribe? Zhuo Jing shook her head. I know it's strange, but we were never favored by the heavenly spirit tribe. We're no longer considered a part of the heavenly spirit tribe. We can't really blame them for that. Why are you telling him that? He doesn't understand. Not everyone understands our goal. The person who did it is beyond his ability to grasp, said Liao Yingrong to Zhuo Jing. Jiang Hao didn't mind and followed them all the way up. There were mazes, formations, and traps here. However, it had no effect on them. Soon, they found the stairs. This is not normal, said Tong Shuan immediately. Yes, someone is one step ahead of us. No one entered earlier than us, so it must be the heavenly spirit tribe. Liao Yingrong frowned. I wonder what cultivation realm they are. If the person is an immortal, we won't be his match. What about the others? They can't either, said Jiang Hao. The three of them were stunned. Why else do you think there are only a few of us? Jiang Hao smiled. They didn't come in. Liao Yingrong was shocked. Jiang Hao smiled but did not say anything. The three of them looked at each other. If that was really the case, then there was no need to worry. They just had to be careful. However, just as they were about to go up, Jiang Hao frowned and said, Be careful about that side. The three of them were surprised. They instinctively looked to the side, and a force tore through the air. The three of them let their auras out. Boom. 3 spears were sent flying. Who was that? Liao Yingrong shouted and was about to chase after him. Stop. Let's just finish what we came here for, said Jiang Hao. Liao Yingrong was a little reluctant to listen to him. He had just noticed the trace. If he did not chase after them now, whoever it was might attack again. The mission is more important, Tong Xuan said softly. Only then did the three of them continue forward, but they were much more vigilant than before. They suspected that it was someone from the heavenly spirit tribe. Jiang Hao turned to look to the side. He could sense that there were many figures in the darkness as if they were waiting for them to chase after them. Their concealment technique was quite effective. If he did not have the nameless manual, he wouldn't have noticed it. The figures had hidden themselves well. It was difficult to find any trace of them. It seemed that they only fished for people with good perception. At the second level, the place below looked different. There were many passages and doors. Every single one of them required the power of 10,000 people to open. If we don't know the direction, it will take a lot of time just to open the door, Zhuojing said. Jiang Hao nodded. It was indeed much more convenient to bring the Saint Bandits along. The place we're going to is near, Zhuojing said. Jiang Hao observed his surroundings. The door was huge. Even with 3 Immortal Ascension platform experts, it was quite difficult to open it. Every door was the same, and what they saw after entering was the same. It was as if they were walking around in a circle. However, the Saint Bandits did not hesitate at all. They continued forward and opened 7 doors. They arrived at the edge of the battlefield. This is the place, Liao Yingrong said warily. They had just been attacked, which meant that someone was already 1 step ahead of them. Anyone could guess who it was. There might be another ambush behind those doors. The 3 of them discussed for a while, then used their powerful strength to quickly break open the door. As the door opened, they joined forces to attack. After confirming that there were no problems, they walked in. Jiang Hao watched everything without making a move. He would need the Saint Bandits to obtain the item. He just needed to make sure that no one was around to attack them. The door opened and closed quickly, and the people behind did not follow. That meant that he had enough time to find the divine item. As soon as they entered, Jiang Hao heard laughter. Saint Bandits, I've been waiting for you for a long time. You're really here. He looked in the direction of the sound. There was a huge ring in the depths, and there was a lot of starlight floating inside. Inside the ring was a middle-aged man who was illuminated by a golden light. He held an astrolabe and was gathering the power in the sky to press down on the ring. It seemed to make the starlight more intense. Jiang Hao looked at the ring and could not help but sigh. That was the collective talent that was locked inside by the Heaven Lock technique. Was this what the Saint Bandit wanted to take away? If he could make use of it, it would indeed be immensely useful. However, this Heaven Lock technique seemed to be a little different from what he had learned. Perhaps it was an incomplete technique. What's the point? Liao Yingrong looked at the man who was surrounded by golden light. You can't stop us. I feel that it is always right to prevent the enemy from getting what they want. The middle-aged man sneered. Liao Yingrong ignored the man and walked to the front of the golden hoop. He tried to steal the starlight. However, just as his power was about to touch the starlight, light appeared from the middle-aged man's astrolabe, suppressed the surroundings, and nullified the Saint Bandit's power. Boom! Liao Yingrong's power was shattered, and he retreated. Haha, it's useless. We are a clan, and your power has long been dispelled by our ancestors. Unless the Saint Bandits swarm this place, you can't take away anything from here. The middle-aged man laughed. He was excited about fighting the Saint Bandits. I'll do it. Tong Xuan took a step forward and attacked the middle-aged man. However, just as he got close, a golden light suddenly bloomed and sent him flying. It's useless. This is a life-protecting magic treasure given to me by the clan leader. It's extremely difficult to break it without ascending to immortality. So as long as I'm here, don't even think about taking anything from here. I'm willing to bow down to the Saint Bandits, but they aren't strong enough. Why would you care about what lies here? You are nothing. I alone can stop you, said the man. Besides, there are numerous people from the Heavenly Spirit tribe behind us. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1001, Saint Bandits and the Heaven Lock Technique. There were still many doors in the spacious room. This place was different from the outside world. There was a vortex above, and the power of the stars gathered below. There was a circular ring, and there were spots of light that looked like starlight floating in a ring. They were indistinct and difficult to capture. Only those who had the Heaven Lock Technique could capture these light spots. The ones who knew the technique were the Saint Bandits. However, even as Saint Bandits, Liao Yingrong and the other two had run into a wall. The man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe in front of him looked skeptical. He had complete control of the situation here. Jiang Hao looked at him and frowned. This Heavenly Spirit Tribe member was different from Liao Yingrong and the others. His cultivation realm was also at the peak of Immortal Ascension platform, but his aura surged with boundless power. He could advance at any time. However, there was an invisible force pressing on him and preventing him from breaking through. It looks like you've ascended to immortality, but you're only half a step into immortality. The Heavenly Spirit Tribe really knows how to pick their people. But he can't advance like that. Does that mean that even if my cultivation is full, I can't advance? Jiang Hao thought. He still felt that there was a chance. It was just a guess. Everyone felt that the Immortal Ascension platform was the limit. However, it was still possible to advance beyond that. One just had to find a way. The people of the Heavenly Spirit Tribe would have an absolute advantage when they entered this place. There were not many people below the Immortal Ascension platform. If someone tried to enter, they would be thrown back except for a few. Besides, there was no need for everyone to enter. If people ascended to the Immortal Ascension platform here, no one would be the wiser. The people outside would never dream that anyone in the early stage of the Immortal Ascension platform could even enter. That was why Jiang Hao had asked for 2 people at the early stage of the Immortal Ascension platform just to check. If they could enter, they would have an advantage. It didn't matter if they were discovered. The Heavenly Spirit Tribe did not want to allow that. Jiang Hao was still at the peak of the Immortal Ascension platform. Tong Shuan, attack with me. Zhuo Jing, go get the things, Liao Yingrong said in a low voice. The two nodded. Then, 3 auras erupted. Liao Yingrong's body was surrounded by piercingly cold sword intent, while Tong Shuan was enveloped by power. It caused a huge phantom to appear. The two of them attacked and collided with the Heavenly Spirit Tribe's golden light. Boom! The golden light shook, but it was quickly stabilized by the person inside. Zhuo Jing stretched out her hand to snatch the item. Seeing this, the middle-aged man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe laughed out loud. It's useless. You can try 100 times, but the result will be the same. As soon as he finished speaking, the astrolabe in his hand surged, and a powerful force descended from the sky. It landed in the ring. The power shook the surroundings and forced back all the attacks. Liao Yingrong and Tong Shuan did not give up and continued to attack. Boom! Boom! Although the man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe felt the pressure of the attacks from 2 people, it did not faze him. He laughed heartily. He felt proud. The Saint Bandits are only SOSO. Not as good as I expected. Another wave of power surged. Liao Yingrong and the other 2 were forced back once again. This time, they looked at each other and rushed straight to the ring. They could tell that the man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe could not come out of the light. At least, he didn't dare to. At that moment, the 3 of them joined forces to attack the ring and tried to seize the light inside. The middle-aged man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe snorted. The star disk in his hand surged, and a powerful force poured down. Liao Yingrong's hand was already inside the ring, but there was starlight blocking his way. When the 2 sides fought, there was a huge pull. For a moment, Liao Yingrong's veins bulged as he roared and moved forward. Even though he started to bleed, he did not stop. Tong Shuan and Zhuo Jing opened up a path for Liao Yingrong. For a moment, a storm of power swept through the surroundings and pushed everything away. Jiang Hao frowned as he watched the fight. It took longer than he expected. He raised his head and felt an endless stream of power coming from above. If he did not take away the talent, the 3 might not succeed. He could not outlast the other party. Jiang Hao sighed. At that moment, power surged ahead. A bit of talent was almost stolen, but the starlight shattered the attack. A terrifying power exploded. Boom! Liao Yingrong and the other two spat out blood and were knocked back. Even the man from the heavenly spirit tribe was forced back a little. This talent carried a chaotic and violent power as well as a kind of immortal intent. Is this the talent of the immortals? Jiang Hao was surprised. Moreover, it carried the will of an immortal. No wonder it was so strong. It was to wear down this willpower. Damn it! Retreat! Liao Yingrong roared. Once the will erupts, those who are not strong enough will be destroyed. The chaos will harm you. He was shouting at Jiang Hao. The three of them had been pushed back and were in a relatively safer place. However, Jiang Hao did not have any intention of retreating. Instead, he was moving forward. Jiang Hao sighed. Although the Saint Bandits were powerful, they had been slumbering for too long. They could no longer attack. Furthermore, they had been tricked, and the Heavenly Spirit Tribe had firmly subdued the Saint Bandits. If he continued to delay, it would waste so much time. It was not difficult to take away the talent of an immortal. It was easy. Come here. Retreat. This is the talent of the immortals. Your cultivation realm is too weak. It'll kill you. Zhuojing shouted. Jiang Hao walked ahead and ignored them. Some of the starlight surged toward him. Damn it! Liao Yingrong was furious and was about to attack. But it was a little too late. Before he could even take a step forward, the starlight suddenly stopped in front of Jiang Hao. The chaotic and violent aura appeared tamed. The sudden change stunned Liao Yingrong. He couldn't even think straight. You're not a Saint Bandit. Are you here to die? Asked the man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe to Jiang Hao from inside the Ring of Light. They are wasting too much time. I'll do what I have to, said Jiang Hao calmly. The man laughed. Who do you think you are? A Saint Bandit? Jiang Hao smiled. He arrived in front of the ring. For some reason, the surrounding starlight had all calmed down, as if waiting to be harvested. The starlight surrounded Jiang Hao without any resistance. Even the surrounding power storm seemed to stop. The middle-aged man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe frowned. He sensed that something was wrong, but he was not worried. At that moment, Jiang Hao stretched out his hand. As he moved, the surrounding starlight surged over. Liao Yingrong's eyes narrowed at the scene. He watched as Jiang Hao reached into the ring, and then a familiar aura began to spread. The power caused the surrounding space to tremble and distort. At that moment, he saw nothing else but Jiang Hao. The moment he made his move, all the starlight in the ring surged and gathered in his palm. Invisible thunderbolts surged in space as if trying to stop this person. The starlight of the Heavenly Spirit Tribe descended and tried to force Jiang Hao back. However, when the starlight landed on Jiang Hao's aura, it shattered with a bang. Even the middle-aged man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe was open-mouthed in disbelief. At that moment, Liao Yingrong and the other two watched in shock and disbelief. Tears welled in their eyes. They gritted their teeth and watched. Endless killing intent arose from the three of them. This killing intent made them look ferocious. Kill him. Liao Yingrong let out a heart-wrenching roar as his killing intent filled the entire room. His life force began to burn. He would not rest until one of them died. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1002, Won't escape alive. When Liao Yingrong shouted, he moved. The other two did not hesitate and followed suit. Their faces were serious, and their killing intent was apparent. The power in their body burned like fire. Whoosh! They instantly disappeared and rushed toward the golden light. At that moment, the middle-aged man from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe finally understood why Jiang Hao had attacked. Run! That was the only thought on his mind. He had to send the news back. With his current strength, there was a chance he might fall. Just as he was thinking, 3 rays of light suddenly attacked him at lightning speed. Boom! The powerful force collided with the golden light, and it was stronger than the previous attack. The middle-aged man from the heavenly spirit tribe was shocked. When he saw that it was Liao Yingrong and the other two who had attacked him, he heaved a sigh of relief. These three people had failed to break through the golden ring before, so it was impossible for them no matter how many times they tried. He tried his best to strengthen his defenses. Boom, boom, boom. Liao Yingrong and the other two didn't stop attacking him. Instead, their power increased by several folds. Their power became more and more violent, like an inexhaustible flame. The middle-aged man from the heavenly spirit tribe was a little surprised. He had already suppressed the attacks with all his might, so why was the golden light shaking even more? Die! Liao Yingrong roared as his body was set ablaze at the cost of his life. The middle-aged man was frightened because he realized that Liao Yingrong was not the only one who was suicidal. The other two were the same. They were crazy. They did not care if they died. Their eyes were filled with madness. They wanted to end the person in front of them even if it meant their own death. Boom! Boom! The attack became more and more terrifying. At that moment, Liao Yingrong's arm was only bones, but he did not care at all. He did not even feel the pain. He just wanted to kill the person in front of him. At this moment, the middle-aged man in the golden light panicked. "You lunatic!" He roared and began to counterattack. However, as the three of them went overboard, the golden light exploded. Then, it shattered. At that moment, the middle-aged man could not defend himself. He was afraid to face the three lunatics. No, with a burst of strength, Liao Yingrong pushed down on the middle-aged man even though he was severely injured. Die! The three of them used all their strength to attack. In just a short while, the middle-aged man was drowned by the overwhelming power. He fell apart. They kept attacking until the man was dead. Jiang Hao held a pearl in his hand. He felt surprised. The starlight had condensed into a blue pearl. It seemed like it was a technique left behind by the Saint Bandits. However, the ring was still there. As for Liao Yingrong and the others, he did not care. The members of the Saint Bandits were crazy. They were not even afraid of death. If they died, that would be it. All of them sought self-destruction. "Can you still lead the way?" Jiang Hao asked after everything had calmed down. He realized that the heavenly spirit tribe member was dead. The astrolabe in his hand had shattered. The storage treasure was gone too. These people were crazy. At that moment, Tong Xuan's body had shrunk by a size, and there was a hole in Zhujing's shoulder. Liao Yingrong's entire hand was gone. All three of them were seriously injured. However, when Jiang Hao spoke, they stood up and bowed respectfully. "We have to dig out that person's treasure first," Zhujing said weakly. "Treasure?" Jiang Hao was surprised. Yes, the treasure left behind by the person in the ring. Back then, the heaven lock technique wasn't complete, so we had to use that treasure to trap the talent. It's just that it's been so long, and it seems to have fused with the aura here, so I can't feel it properly, Zhujing said. "Let me do it." Jiang Hao stopped them. "No. We can handle this," the three of them said at the same time. Jiang Hao frowned. "Why? I can't pick it up." "You can." Liao Yingrong nodded. He was just about to explain why when he saw Jiang Hao digging for the treasure. An impressive blade appeared in Jiang Hao's hand. He used it to hack and dig for the treasure. This was not a mine, so there was no bubble to be obtained. After so many years, the treasure must be dirty. After all, it was buried underground. Soon, a golden ring appeared in the dirt. The ring was mixed with the soil. There was a meter between the two sides of the golden ring, and it was as thick as a wrist. Jiang Hao took out a rag and started wiping. The three people were stunned. They felt that it was disrespectful to let Jiang Hao dig for the treasure. When he started cleaning it, they felt even more embarrassed. "Let's go and help," Liao Yingrong said. Jiang Hao shot a sharp glance at him. As he wiped, some bubbles fell. Cultivation +1, lifeblood +1, spirit sword +1, strength +1, spirit +1. Seeing the bubbles merge into his body, Jiang Hao felt happy. Finally, there was some improvement in his cultivation. After spending some time wiping the treasure, Jiang Hao reluctantly put the cloth away. He had obtained some green and white bubbles. He even found about 14 to 15 blue bubbles. That was a lot. After all, it was only a small treasure. He hoped that the divine item in the depths would be bigger. Thus, he threw the ring to Liaoyingrong. Apart from that, there was also the starlight pearl. He gave them all away. Now that you've gotten what you want, can you help me? Jiang Hao asked. Of course. We'll do anything to help. Even if we end up dead. Each of them was determined in their resolve. In the Heavenly Spirit Tribe, the clan leader stood in the attic and focused on what was going on. He looked into the distance and saw that many people could not enter the ancestral land. This was what they had expected. Everything went according to their plan. Tongwu seems to have died, said the third elder. He's dead. The clan leader shook his head. So? It's a pity. He was one of us, said the third elder and sighed. There will always be sacrifices that need to be made. What's the situation inside? Asked the clan leader. A loud boom suddenly shook everything below. With a boom, the starlight formation shattered on the spot. Many people were sent flying. Soon, a woman flew up. She lowered her head and said in fear, Clan leader, something happened. Li Dong is dead. The Saint bandits took the item. Why is this happening? Asked the clan leader. Is it because the suppression went wrong, or did you not transmit your power into it? Everything went as we planned, but we still failed, said the woman in fear. Is there any news from the fallen immortal clan? Asked the clan leader. Their people have already started to hunt in the dark. The other divine item is suppressing them from above. There will definitely be no accidents, said the woman. That divine item is related to the blooming of the fallen immortal clan's immortal seed. It's serious, said the third elder. The clan leader lowered his head in thought. Continue sending people in. Find an opportunity to activate the third part of our plan. He could not let the Saint bandits return with the item alive. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1003, A Great Opportunity in the Ancestral Land. Shu Bai walked out from the deep sea. The seawater did not affect him at all. He looked thin, but he had an immense presence. His aura seemed to be able to stabilize the surrounding sea. At that moment, he appeared in front of the entrance. He touched it lightly, and as expected, he felt the rebound of power. Then, he suppressed his cultivation realm to the peak of the immortal ascension platform. He tried to enter again, but the result was the same. He could not enter. What a powerful barrier. Shu Bai could not help but sigh. He had thought that he would be able to enter after suppressing his cultivation realm. Unexpectedly, it did not work. The methods of the Heavenly Spirit Tribe were indeed extraordinary. It had been so long since the Heavenly Spirit Tribe had done something. Shaking his head, he left the sea and appeared in the sky above the sea. At that moment, there was a roar of power in the surroundings. Many people were fighting. Shu Bai only glanced at them and started to retreat. Soon, he saw a ship nearby. It seemed to belong to the Saint bandits. There were some people guarding the ship. He curiously looked at the ship. He found nothing there. He could sense nothing from the ship. He suddenly retreated. This ship did not seem as simple as it looked. At that moment, he looked in the direction of the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. There were other auras rising from within. Fallen Immortal Clan and Heavenly Saint Sect. He didn't need to go over to observe to be sure that the people of these two clans had interfered. Looks like I have to get the Heavenly Spirit Tribe to do something. Otherwise, it'll be easy to put pressure on them if they sit on that fishing platform throughout. As he thought about it, Shu Bai entered the deep sea again. He wanted to go to the ancestral land. He also had to reveal the location of it to others so that they could go and investigate. A moment later, boom. On the other side, the seawater separated, and a door opened in the depths. Oh, there's a place there. The man with the sword on his back was surprised. He had killed the fat man in a fight. Many people rushed in. The exposure of the first ancestral land made the heavenly spirit tribe nervous. They instantly sent out their experts. However, it was useless. These people did not care. Each of them had their own escape route. Even if others were much stronger than them, they still had a chance to escape. They were confident in themselves. On the ship, Hong Yuye drank tea and looked in the direction of the heavenly spirit tribe. She could sense a suppressive force pressing down on something in the second ancestral land. Even if there was a way to activate it, it would be useless under such suppression. Hong Yuye sipped her tea, looked ahead, and waited. At that moment, a man and a woman walked to the ship. When they reached the ship, they saw the seniors from before standing guard near the ship. For a moment, he was puzzled. "Seniors, why aren't you boarding the ship?" the woman asked. The two of them felt somewhat embarrassed. Then, they looked at the deck. The woman on the ship looked at them. He felt such terror that he wanted to flee. They understood why the two seniors were standing near the ship. There was indeed no way to go over there. They wondered about Smiling San Sheng. Without Smiling San Sheng, how would they enter the ancestral land? How would the others think about that? They hesitated for a moment but still asked Hong Yuye about it. All they got was a simple response. "Just wait." No one dared to ask any more questions. But they were a little concerned about the situation inside. Could Smiling San Sheng really do it? They were concerned especially because the fallen immortal clan had come here. They couldn't enter, and it was impossible to complete the final activation without Smiling San Sheng's help. At the third level of the ancestral land, Jiang Hao discovered that the whole place was covered in a dense fog. The mist could even distort one's perception. It was similar to the sea fog cave. This layer is covered in fog. It's that person's technique. Anyone who comes up will be affected. Zhuojing shuddered. Even if the heavenly spirit tribe has the advantage, it'll be impossible for them to reach the core fast. It will take a lot of time to find a way there, but we can reach there first if we move fast enough. They were eager to be the first to reach the core and stop the immortal seed from blooming. That way, the great era would be delayed. The person in front of him needed time. "Do you know the way?" Jiang Hao asked. "Yes." Liao Yingrong nodded. He ignored his injuries. That place was personally created by that person. It is divided into 3 parts. The first has the divine item, the second has the 4 extreme pillar treasures, and the third has the 8 directional divine statue. Every place has a rare divine item. The 3 items work together to suppress the fallen immortal clan's fortune. Although many years have passed and the old luck has dissipated, activating the divine items will still affect the fallen immortal clan. The immortal seed will not be able to bloom for a while. Jiang Hao looked at the other party and said, 4 pillars and 8 statues. Yes, they are all extremely powerful treasures. As long as we find a trace of the treasures, we will be able to enter the core, Zhuojing said. Let's find the 8 directional divine statues first. Jiang Hao nodded. There's no need to find them. We have some clues that we can use, Liao Yingrong said. Let's just find them anyway, Jiang Hao said. The 3 of them did not say anything else. The 3 of them had a special technique for the fog. Although Jiang Hao could sense the surroundings, he did not have a clue what to do next. After a long time, Jiang Hao finally saw a stone statue in front of him. It was about 3 meters tall, held a large saber, and its eyes were wide open in rage. It looked rather majestic, but it seemed a little dull. Found it, Zhuojing said. After a while, Jiang Hao arrived in front of the statue. This is one of the 8 directional immortal spirits, evil degree, Zhuojing said. 8 directional immortal spirits. This was the first time Jiang Hao had heard of it. He realized that the statue was a bit dirty. It might be because the immortals have completely fallen. The immortal energy here has also fallen silent, so it might be a bit filthy, Zhuojing said. You guys should rest for a while, said Jiang Hao calmly as he looked at the statue. But the 3 of them hesitated. They wanted to enter the core and quickly suppress the immortal seed of the fallen immortal clan. However, this person didn't seem to be in a hurry. They felt helpless, especially when Jiang Hao took out a rag. He even started wiping the statue clean. They felt helpless, but they could not tell him to stop. They could only sit and wait for him to finish. However, the statue had not been cleaned for a long time. It had been countless years. It was as if everyone had forgotten his existence. At that moment, Jiang Hao was immersed in cleaning it. Occasionally, some bubbles fell. Cultivation +1, spirit +1, he got 8 bubbles. Jiang Hao thought about the 4 pillars they would find next. What a great opportunity, Jiang Hao thought and sighed with emotion. He did not expect this place to be even better than the mines. Perhaps there was a chance to accumulate enough cultivation points before he left this place. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1004, The Goddess Statue, Name, Jiang Hao, Age, 42, Cultivation, Peak of the Immortal Ascension Platform, Cultivation Method, Heavenly Sound 100 Revolutions, Hongmeng Heart Sutra, Divine Ability, 9 Revolutions Death Substitution, Unique, Daily Appraisal, Clear and Pure Heart, Reappearance of Hidden Spirit, Divine Might, Revival of Withered Tree, Heavenly Cauldron, Indestructible Vaja, Myriad Nature Forest, Lifeblood, 45-100, can be cultivated, Cultivation, 43-100, can be cultivated, Divine Abilities, 03, cannot be obtained. Jiang Hao looked at his interface and felt that he might really be able to accumulate enough cultivation points this time. It would depend on how many bubbles he would get from statues and pillars. As time passed, bubbles appeared bit by bit. Spirit +1, Cultivation +1, Spirit Sword +1. After some time, Jiang Hao stopped wiping the statue. There were only 8 bubbles in total. It was too few. There were still 7 such statues left, so he might find more. The statue glowed faintly. Jiang Hao could sense that some power had been activated inside, but there were no other changes. After hesitating for a moment, he appraised it. The result told him that the statue was connected to the outside world, and its power was recovering. It would also resonate with the core. It was a good thing. After that, Jiang Hao told Liao Yingrong and the others to lead the way. With the first statue as the source, they quickly found the second one. Jiang Hao did not waste any time. He took out a cloth and started wiping. This time, it was worse than before. There were only 7 bubbles. There were more statues, so it was all right. Hopefully, another one would give more bubbles. Liao Yingrong and the others continued to lead the way. They took a break along the way and recovered bit by bit. They found the 3rd statue and the 4th. They found all 7. After Jiang Hao finished wiping the 7th statue, he realized that this statue gave him the most bubbles. There was still quite a distance to cover. The last statue. Zhuo Jing pointed ahead. Along the way, they all felt that Jiang Hao was strange. Who would want to clean every statue? When they saw the last one, they found that there was a faint light coming from inside the statue. It was as if it had finally been awakened after countless years. They looked at Jiang Hao with admiration. It turned out that everything he did had a reason behind it. It was all part of his plan. The revival of the 8 god statues would definitely allow the divine item to be activated more effectively, which would buy him more time. The last statue? Jiang Hao looked at the statue in surprise. It was a statue of a female dragon. Its eyes glowed. It was surrounded by the power of a true dragon. One of the 8 great immortal spirits, the dragon goddess, Zhuo Jing said. Jiang Hao nodded, then reached out his hand and gently swept the statue. A gentle breeze cleaned the dust gathered on the statue. Let's go. Jiang Hao turned around. This statue was too dazzling, and he could not wipe it. It was regretful. He could not clean it even though he was smiling San Sheng. Then, he looked at his interface. Lifeblood, 69-100, can be cultivated, cultivation, 68-100, can be cultivated. There was still a long way to go. The 4 extreme pillars might be similar to the statues. So, Jiang Hao relied on that. I hope I get lucky. With that in mind, Jiang Hao asked the three people to lead the way. After a while, Jiang Hao felt that the fog was much thicker, and it seemed that he had entered the second part of the place. This time, they strolled around for a long time. It took a long time to find the first pillar. Jiang Hao suddenly sensed the presence of someone else there. Someone had followed them here. It seemed that he had wasted a lot of time looking for the statues one by one. Otherwise, the others would not have found them so fast. I wonder if the person who came in is from the Heavenly Spirit Tribe or the Fallen Immortal Clan, Jiang Hao muttered to himself. However, he was not in a hurry to find out. It would still take time for others to enter the core. He continued cleaning. The 4 pillars were pure white and about 1.5 feet tall. There was also some dust on them, and their power was the same as the statues. Jiang Hao began to wipe them. At that moment, Liao Yingrong and the others drew an array on the ground. The 3 of them were a little surprised. Someone is already heading toward the core. If we go in now, we'll definitely be much faster than them. No. This person seems to have a plan. The 3 of them frowned. They could not fully understand Jiang Hao's plans. In their understanding, although the outside world was somewhat important, it was far inferior to the divine object in the core. The most important thing was to activate that thing. If someone else entered first, they could ruin their plan. Think of a way to reverse the formation here and make it more difficult for others to find the place. When he finishes cleaning the pillars, we can go to the core. It shouldn't take too long to activate the divine item, Liao Yingrong said seriously. The other 2 nodded. After that, he began to expand the influence of the array formation and resonate with the array formation at the core. They were sure that the Heavenly Spirit Tribe was far inferior to them. Jiang Hao didn't pay any attention to these people. Instead, he went about his own business. The pillars were indeed more powerful than the statues, but it was a pity that they did not give many bubbles. He obtained 5 bubbles from 1 pillar, so he got 20 in total. Jiang Hao felt that he might not get enough bubbles to be able to advance. He sighed. If the last statue had not been of a female dragon, he would have had enough points to advance. Everything depended on luck from here on out. The other side was also covered in fog. The people who were hiding could find the right path. They had enough people to search for it. There were only 3 of them at the moment, but it would not be long before more people gathered. The formation here has changed. It seems that someone has sensed us and wants to stop us from entering, said a middle-aged man. It's highly likely that they are the Saint Bandits. According to what we know, this floor was built by the Saint Bandits, so they have an advantage. However, our immortals also have an advantage. The closer we are to the divine item, the more obvious the suppression will become. If we get close enough, we'll be able to lock on to the location. Then, we'll destroy it. They did not care about anything else. What they needed to do was to destroy the divine item. In that way, they would become true immortals again and receive the blessings of heaven and earth. I heard that Smiling San Sheng is here too. Be careful, said an elder. Don't start a conflict with them for now. Wait for the Heavenly Spirit Tribe to signal us. Our people will be ready. This time, not only the Saint Bandits but also Smiling San Sheng won't be able to stop us, said a middle-aged man. They did not know much about Smiling San Sheng, but they knew that he had killed many immortals. There were quite a few of them. It would naturally be best if they could kill him. The people from the Heavenly Saint Tribe might be there as well. Their clan leader doesn't want the divine item to be refilled with power, so he's going to destroy it, said the old man. Well, leave them a trace and stall for time, said the middle-aged man. This time, no matter what they had to do, they would try to destroy the divine item once and for all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,